Hi dear friends, welcome to our IT class. So yesterday we have discussed or started the new chapter that is called Java, and before starting the Java we have started the programming languages. We will revise programming language, then we will start today's topic. So let us do with our Brahmana. Om. Om Shanti 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 Swasta. Okay, so let us revise with what is programming language. So in the last class we discussed about what is program. Program means it is the set of instructions. And why the program is needed? Because today almost every task of human being is doing by computers, and computer needs programs, means various operations, and these operations includes different set of instructions which is provided by the user so that the computer can process it, stores it, and gives the desired output. And the language, as we need language, the computer also need language, and computer understandable language is, we know that only one language, that is called binary language. And because this binary language was very difficult and very slow processing to the computer system, thereafter another language was developed, that is called middle level language, and that was assembled with the keywords of some general English words, and there one translator has been used, that is called assembler, which converts the assembly language to the machine level language. After that, various applications multitasking was required by the computers, and thereafter the needs are very much required. For that, high level language was developed, and which includes almost, it is looks like a general English language. And there are various high level languages like C, C++, Java, Python, Fortran, etc. And there we have been seen primarily they use interpreter line by line of execution of statements. Thereafter, to more faster processing, compiler was developed which convert that entire high level language or all the statements of a program entirely, so that it will translate into the machine level language. And today we have Java language, which has been used both the translator, that is compiler, as well as interpreter. But why today we will use this particular topic? Because most of the popular type of language like Java, mostly they follows one concept, and that concept, so today we will start with that concept, that is called OOP, object oriented programming. What is called object oriented programming? What is this particular meaning of this OOP, object oriented programming? Means, let us say the meaning. This is a concept used for any object oriented languages. Object oriented languages. Example: our Java. Why? Now to create, reuse and manipulate different objects to get desired results. Yes, so here that is called objects. Now what is object, what are this, we will come here one by one. The first of all, what is the basic concept of OOP, why it was developed. Now this for concept is mainly used for different types of object oriented language, because most of the high level language in modern days, they used this concept to simplify and to make accuracy and rapidly developed applications like rapid application development, and with integrated of environment or integrated of different windows. So all these things they emphasize on objects. Mainly our topic is objects. Now this particular concept, first of all, it will create a new object. That means as we are doing in our computer, whenever you want to do the new things, you are creating a new file like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or you are creating a new folder, or you are creating a new document. Similarly, the languages, it follows whatever the things that exist in the world. For example, chair, or your a fan, or stone, any data that should be processed into the computer system, they will treat it as an individual objects. So the human being is also one object, the pen is also object, the duster is also object, the whiteboard is also an object. So they have treated each individual things that exist in the world, they are called as objects. Now what is an object? Now if you will see, there are so many features of OOP. They have all are related with the objects. For example, number one, object. What is an object? It is an identifiable entity which have following three things. First of all, this object is an identifiable entity, so which works on the three factors. The object requires the three factors. What are these three factors? Now one is let us say number one, that is called identity. Next is its state. Number three, behavior. Identity, state, behavior. So three things the objects require. One is called as identity, second is the state, and third is the behavior. Now in programming we can identify, so what the things we can identify. So first of all, identity means name of an object, name of an object, name of an object. Now what is state? We can call it as its properties, or we can call it as attributes, properties or attributes. Identity means if you will create an object, you have to give one name. So that is object name is the identity. For example, if I will take myself as an object, I have my name. If you are an object, you have your name. If for example, let's say dog, so dog has also we called this puppy or Tommy, like that we have called as a name. And each object, they have some states, that means they have some properties or attributes. We will take example. Now what is behavior? They have certain kinds of methods. We can use the methods. Okay, now let us see example. Student name. If I will take as the object of a human being, the student name, suppose say Akash. Student name is Akash. That means the object has been created as Akash. Now if they have some states like Akash, what is the age of Akash, or you can call it as what is the color of Akash, what is height or weight. I will take 4 properties: age, color, height, weight. I can take 4 properties, I can take 5 properties, I can take any number of properties. That we will treat it as a attributes in our Java programming language. Now what are the behaviors that the Akash can have? The Akash can talk, the Akash can walk, the Akash can read, the Akash can write. So these are the behavior of that particular object. If I will take the so all the particular object of human being, they are same. So properties, attributes cannot be changed. So the properties means the weight, all the human being have weight, all the human being have color, all the human being has height, all the human being has the. So properties may be same of the persons, but if you will say the properties will change to the animals, the properties may be changed to the birds, but what the difference is, the methods can be changed. That means if I will say the value of the properties can be changed and the value of behavior. Age may be Akash, age may be different to the Vikas, or the color of Akash may be different from the Vikas. So likewise, so they can differ from their states and behavior. Okay, so is that. So the object, already we discussed about what is an object. That is called, it is an identifiable entity which have certain these 3 things, that is identity, state and behavior. Now how you can create these objects, how can you reuse these objects so that you can get the results or you can get the values. So we need another feature or concept of OOPS, that is called class. Now what is a class? Now number 2, that is called class. So we have to use the class. Now what do you mean by a class? The class says it is the set, or you can call it as group of objects. Group of objects. Set or group of objects. So it is a collection of objects. So objects already we discussed. The chair may be object, the duster may be object, the pen may be object, the human being may be object, the animal may be objects. So can you make all these things any type of? No. So the definition says it is the set of objects that can share common properties and methods. Common properties and methods. So that means they have certain common properties. Means all the human beings have the same properties and same methods. That means I have color, I have weight, I have that means age. So like that. So similarly methods are I can walk, I can talk, I can read, I can write. So as my colleagues, all the human beings are same, that I can include human being as a class. Similarly bird as a class, or vehicle as a class, or animal as a class. So if I will take these are the class, then I can say we will satisfy to create the class. So class can have their components. What are the components? You can use their components. 5 components are there. Number 1, class name. Number 2, body. Number 3, super or subclass. Number 4, modifiers. And number 5, interface. So class name, body, superclass, modifiers. So class name you can say as a student as a class name. All the IT students you can take as a class. But this in the programming language, the body of the class should start with a curly bracket and different statements. You can write the different statements, or you can create the objects and their method inside the class only, and they should be closed with the body, so that you can create a class name called class. You can use the different objects, student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4, and their methods also, method 1, method 2, method 3, method 4. So different methods and their different objects can be created, but they should be enclosed with your curly brackets. So starting with the curly brackets, ending with the curly brackets. Now you can use the subclass or superclass. What is superclass and subclass? Suppose if I will say students, then I can use its superclass like college. Under it you can use this student as a subclass. So under it, that called as your IT students, bio students, like that. You can use 2 subclasses under this college. So if I will take the student, then you can use this subclass. This one becomes your superclass. Okay. Now what are the modifiers? Modifiers, you can use this particular class, or the statements can be executed within their class or outside the class. So for that you can use the modifier like public or default. Public means they can be accessed to any other classes. Default means what you set. suppose they set inside the class, they will be inside the class. If they use only the objects, the values can be share only two subclasses, that is default, then only it will be two subclasses only. Now what is interface? You can use interface, the code called as extents. We can use interface extents. That means the college, the IT students. So if I will interface to IT student to physics, chemistry, mathematics and English. Similarly, you can extend this is called bio students to physics, chemistry, math and English. So like that you can interface them by the concept. That is the use of the class. So these two important features are very compulsory to use if you are using the object oriented language or Java language. There are some other features like OOPS you can introduce with that. What we have included that already we discussed in the object, that is called method. That is called method. Now these are the part of a class. So already we created a class. So these are the part of a class. Now that performs a specific task with returning returning a result. Now if you apply a method, so already we created a class, so under it we have been created new objects. Okay, so for that what is the necessary? If you want to get output, you must have to use the methods inside the class. That is why it is called as a part of the class. Now if you will use the method, there are two types of methods, that is called get methods, set methods. Get method means it will access the input value from the object and it will give you, that means set, it will give you the output what you are inputted, according to that what it will provide. For example, suppose if I will use class name as a dog, then I will use a method that is called eat. Then what are the methods of eating of the dog? Or if I will use walk, then walk method of dog, walk method of human being is different. Walk method of dog by 4 legs and walk method of human being is by 2 legs. So there is, you cannot use the fly method in the particular class because they are not the birds. Okay, so by looking this you can put different methods inside the class, so that according to that the object of the value will provide the particular result what actually really the output we wants. Now fourth one called as abstraction property or abstraction concept of OOPS. Now this property or this concept displays or output, provide output the essential features or characteristics without including without including any background details. So it displays the only the essential features. That means whatever the requirement features that will display. If you apply data abstraction for the any class or for any methods, then you can assume that only that output will be produced and other will be hide or other are not necessary. Let us say example. Suppose if I will take riding a bike. Riding a bike is a method. Suppose if you are putting riding a bike, so bike has different features. So when you will think about the bike as an engine, the bike has tire, the bike has rim, the bike has shock absorber, the bike has wires, the bike has everything. But while you riding a bike, what is the necessary? Let us see the two things that is required for. For a engineer or garage person, those who are manufacturing the bike, all the features are necessary for that one. But I am telling about here that while you are riding a bike, what are the necessary? Tell me. First of all, yes, switching on or key on, getting self is necessary. 1, key. 2, self. Third, I will say A, B, C. Accelerator, brake, clutch. How much? 5 component. Accelerator, brake, clutch. Okay, you required to check whether petrol is there or not, or you will see the pump or air inside the tube is there or not. Is any other much you required? Are you opening the engine? Are you opening the wires? Are you looking the shock absorbers? Are you looking inside the any details? No. So that means they are hiding. So only whatever the essential are needed to riding a bike, that is necessary. So at that time we can use this abstraction concept in the if required. So it is not compulsory. So object class method is the compulsory to use any program. If necessary, if that type of requirement is, if you are required the outputs are essential, just hiding the unnecessary things or not necessary at that particular point of time, then you can use the concept called as abstraction. Now coming to another, number 5, polymorphism. Polymorphism means poly means many, morphism means kinds, many kinds. So it says polymorphism, it displays the message of an object in more than one form. Here form means kind, means so object is more than one form. So this is very important, more than one form. Let us take the example. So if I want to message called as or object, so the object can give the object will be same, but when it will go to one class to another, the message will be differ. How it will be? Suppose I will take a person. So the person is same. For example, you I will take the your example, that is the you. When you going to the particular college, what is your identity? Your identity is student. Identity is your student. Now when you coming to your home, you becomes child. You become child. When you going to a particular club or outside, you become a friend. That means same person can, their identity or message is more than one kind, that is student, child or friend. Suppose if you use a shape as an object, then shape, it yields as a one type triangle, shape will be circle, shape will be square, shape will be diamond. That means it can use the different kind of forms or different kind of message as required. So you can use this property, that is called polymorphism. Now coming to the sixth, encapsulation. Encapsulation means it is the wrapping. Wrapping means merge. Wrapping up of data or message in a single unit called as class. Single unit as a class. That means it will encapsulate. Actually it was start with the capsulate. Encapsulate means the various things can be combined into a single unit. That means when you want to make merge, so that means when you are using the table, you are merging 2, 3, 4 cells as a single cell. Similarly, when you are using the different message or different data to be are bounded in one particular unit or bounded in one class example, so then we can use the property called as your encapsulation. So for example, if I have a house, let us say if I have a house, so what the house includes, that means house can be merged with their walls, means room, number of rooms they can merge with inside the house, and you can merge with their infrastructures like bed, like chair, like PC, like dining table. So different kinds you can inside the house, not outside the house. So if there is some requirement in the programming, so you can use this particular concept called as encapsulation. Now coming to the next one, 7, inheritance. It says it is the extraction of characteristics of one class from another class. So we have this property in our syllabus. We will go detail in that what do you mean by the concept of inheritance, but little bit we discuss what is the inheritance properties. So inheritance properties, it says, that means it's the old concept that Let us say example. So I have some inherited properties my father or my mother. That means some properties can acquire in my body from my father and mother. And my father and mother have some inherited characteristics of from my grandfather and grandmother. So I want to say, for example, suppose if you are going to a doctor, doctor says, "Sir, I have such things problems." So they will ask you, this problem was in your father or mother? Yes. Suppose a diabetes, suppose a eosinophilia. So like that, so they will ask. That means this is the inheritance. So we can use the some characteristics of the objects or some properties of the objects we required from its superclass. Generally, it comes from superclass to base class, not from reverse. So the inheritance properties comes from our grandfather to father, father to me, not reverse. So the inheritance properties cannot be go from bottom level to top. It comes from top level to bottom. So that means class A can inherit the properties from B, class B can inherit the properties of class C, like that. So the inheritance also different types called as single level inheritance, multiple level inheritance, hybrid inheritance. Different kinds of inheritance are there. We will see in the concept of inheritance. And finally, we will see what do you mean by message passing. It says sending a message, from one object or objects, more than one objects, from one object to another object or objects. So sending or pass the message. So already we discussed about the various methods, class, objects, everything. Suppose the message is or value that will be passed from one class to another, or from inside the class one object to another. The same message, you don't want to create a new object for that one. So if you want, then you can use the message passing concept in the Java language. So these are the today's topic, the way important feature. There are various other concepts and features are there, but we have in our syllabus there are the most important features. 8 features are there. What are the features? Just revise. So OOPS language is nothing but it is an object oriented language. So most of the languages of high level language like Java, Python, C++, they acquire from this concept. So what are the features of this one? One is called object. It is an identifiable entity which have some characteristics and behavior. Class, which will set the different objects which are similar. And number 3, method. You can invoke the methods such that their behavior and the value will differ. And method, then we have encapsulation, inheritance, abstraction, polymorphism, and your message passing. So we will conclude today's class. Thank you.